Did I kill you? Oh, that's gonna happen too. More than a few times. Woo, that's warm. Oh, that's warm. All right, so we're rehydrating this yeast. Make sure it's clean. Make sure it's clean. By clean, I mean just run super stupid hot water over it. A nice cross breeze going. We're ready, Freddy. All right, guys, here it is. Here's what we got. Hops, specialty grains. We've got liquid malt extract in the sink. I'll show you guys what that is later. And pretty much just all this stuff to boil. This has all been sanitized, so you don't want to touch it too much. Just make sure it's good and ready to go. All right, let's do it. All right, here's the setup. Super easy, guys. Literally 2.5 gallons of water, propane tank, and a burner. You can do this on an electric range stove if you want. Just take 35 minutes to boil. Ain't nobody got time for that. All right, what else do I need? Hops are later. All right, here's the recipe kit right here too. So just kind of want to show you guys how to do this. It's super easy. I mean, it takes 2 seconds. I barely even have any propane, so hopefully we can make it through this, but you don't need a lot, especially on that thing. So yeah, so if you guys want, just buy a kit. It's 35 bucks. All of this stuff, 35 bucks for the whole kit. And then I don't know, extra, you're gonna need a 6-gallon stock pot and then a 6.5 gallon glass carboy, which is like 40 bucks together, 50 bucks maybe. Kit's 35, and then supporting stuff like a hydrometer, which you don't need. I mean, all this stuff you don't need. You can be super bare bones if you want, but this stuff, this is like 10 bucks. So, I mean, these are $2 for my hops so they don't go everywhere. And yeah, I mean, it's super easy, kind of what you guys want to do. I mean, if you want to start, this is the best way to do it. So yeah, we're getting after it. So first thing we're going to do is just get this guy hot, not boiling. You do not want to boil your specialty malts or your liquid malt extract. It releases bad juju. Bad juju. So don't do that. I also have super open garage, so burning propane inside and hopefully will not kill me. And I have a window open. I've also done it in a basement, which is super no-no. But you know what? YOLO. All right, so we're gonna let that get up to about 160, I would say. That's a little high. I don't even know. You want to keep it in between. I mean, right here. Let's see. Let's read it off to you guys. Denver just got an interception. Let's go, baby! All right, let me look at this. Yeah, and this window's open too. See, I knew she was gonna say it. All right, so I guess what we can do now, we'll get this all set up. It's called a muslin bag. I don't know what they call this thing. It's just a grain bag. Basically, when that gets up to the right temperature, we'll pour these grains into the sock. And hopefully not spill everywhere like I almost just did. Get it all in there. All right. Move it all the way down. I kind of like to get the dust off of it. All that dust that comes off of it. I just don't like a lot of like solid particles in my beer. And then you loosely do this, just really loosely. You don't have to like tighten it, pack it or anything. You want this to be as fluffed as possible so the water can get in there and do its magic and release all of its good stuff everywhere inside the wort. You know what I mean? Do you though? I don't know what I mean. Let's see what we got going on here. 95, 100, 104, 105. Let's go down closer to the bottom. See what we got. 109, 112. A lot of times it helps if you guys stir it too. I mean, sometimes sometimes the bottom is substantially more warmer than the top. So even when you're having your grains and you're putting your grains in there, make sure they're not on the bottom of the pot, because the bottom of the pot's like scorching hot. So yeah, basically we'll just take this guy, and once that gets up to temperature, all you got to do is just wrap it around that handle and just make sure it's in between the top and the water, top of the water and the bottom of the pot, fully submerged, but not touching the bottom. Hit 160. Shut this guy off. Turn the valve. All right, we're good. Let's see where we're at right now. If it's too hot, just give it time to cool down, and if it's too low, start her back up. I mean, it's real simple. First time I made my first beer, I was freaking out. Like, every detail had to be like rock solid and perfect, and it's really not. If you want to make really good beer and be able to replicate that beer every single time, then yes, you have to do everything perfect. But yeah, this is kit. We're not doing that on today's episode. We may do that sometime down the road. I'm trying to do some all grain setups. All right, so you take grains, and like I said, you're going to drop them down. Let me see if I can get you guys adjusted. Drop them down, and they will kind of float. It's kind of just like, it's like tea. It's literally like a tea bag, and you can see all that stuff coming off of it. All of that's the goodness of flavors. That's the good stuff right there. So we're just going to let that kind of weigh itself down so we're not on the bottom. And then I just push it like this, and you just tie it. And you can even pull it, adjust it, however you guys, like I said, however you guys want to do it. It doesn't matter. As long as everything's submerged, it's not touching the bottom. Put it back in the brew pot. Seed grains for approximately 20 minutes. So we're going to go find a timer, and we're going to get 20 minutes on the clock. Let's go. All right. Got the headlamp out of the old work truck. I'll show you guys kind of what that looks like. Kind of gives it that. This is a Irish red kit that we're doing, so you can kind of see it's giving it that reddish hue. So yeah, just let those steep. Sometimes if you want to release more, I know you're not really supposed to do this, but I just kind of dip it like a tea bag. Let's check this. Always check your temperatures too, guys. You can never, I mean, you could literally sit here and stare at your thermometer the entire time, but I mean, it really is significantly important to check temperatures and to make sure that what you're doing is actually doing what you need it to. I mean, especially once you get into more advanced brewing. See, that's low, 152. We're going to pour in that liquid malt extract that's been cooking in the kitchen sink for a while. All right, so it's 528. Getting ready to drop that in. The liquid malt extract, which I'll show you why it's hot in there, because it's so thick and molassesy, you literally have to heat it up before you can dump it out. All right, guys, we got our liquid malt extract. It's all juicy now, so I'm gonna put this over here. Timer should go off any second now. All the extras out, but you can just do another dip. I do another couple, and then I really just get it dry, let it drip dry. We take this, we throw it in the trash. Now we take these guys. You want to make sure you stir this. So actually, that's why we got Billy over here. Right. Remember that fell on the ground, so we're not going to use that. And I needed that. Actually, I don't really. So just stir it a little bit, make sure it's good. You just want to make sure it all dissolves, because this is what's going to get you your alcohol and all of its goodness that it has to offer. So if you like your beer strong, just make sure you pour it all in there. And that smells like beer right there. That's the good stuff. Basically, this stuff is just, it's basically like liquefied malt extract. So it's literally, they have already done the malting process for you. So you don't have to do all grain setup and extract your sugars from the grains. It's already done all for you. This is all your, it don't matter. This is your beer. You do what you want to do with it. If you want to put a pound of hops into a 5-gallon brew, do it. Do it. Make a video. I want to see it because that would be cool and expensive and kind of dumb. So do it. Let me see it. So that's the stuff that's going to get us to our ABV and our OG and our FG. These are numbers you all, if you're in IBUs, I mean, yeah, of course, but these are, if you're during brew day, IBUs are going to just be there, but OG, FG, ABV, you want to take all these down, and I'm actually going to go get a pen just so I can take all this down. And then what we can do is we can always take a gravity reading. So you take a gravity reading, and you know your starting gravity, which is, should be, this kit calls out starting gravity at around original gravity, starting gravity, 10.48 through 10.52. Final gravity, 10.11 through 10.15. So these are numbers that we're going to try to hit. Basically, all of that equates to 5% alcohol to 5.5% alcohol in this brew. So, like I said, I'll probably be making a little bit more episodes of these. Just this is just starting out. I haven't brewed in like 3 or 4 years, so I'm just getting back into it, and this is just stupid easy that you guys can do on your own. So it's kind of, which, I mean, you can spend tens of thousands of dollars on brewing easily and still not be a good brewer. So there's a lot that goes into it, but like I said, this stuff is super simple. This is so easy to do. You can do whatever you want to with it. You can add your own stuff to this, make it more flavorful, do something different with it. I mean, there's so many different options. It's all what you want to do, man. It really is. And people are always like, "Oh, you didn't follow the recipe. Oh, you didn't do this, you didn't do that." But it's like, if it comes out and it tastes good and you did everything right, like, and that's what you want it to be, then perfect. You made a beer. Who cares? All right, so that's all good. What am I doing next? Hops. All right, let's read this. Oops, add it to the boiling wort. They wanted me to add the LME to the boiling wort. I didn't do that. I added it to just right after the quote unquote mash. So now we're cooking this up. Now we're gonna boil this bad boy. And you want this thing to sing. So we're gonna get it to a good rolling boil. And basically we're gonna throw these guys into what these guys are doing is they're hop balls. And it basically keeps all of that nastiness, all of this nastiness out of your beer. I mean, you really don't want to have like floating parts, especially in a red ale, which is what we're making today. It's supposed to be crystal clear, so you want to make sure you keep all that stuff out of there. Throughout this process, do not cover any of your pans. I know some people do it. I've heard that it releases, I forget what it releases, like DME or something like that. That's probably a drug. No, that's DMT. It does something. And it just recirculates the stuff that you don't want to go into your wort. Just brings that stuff back in. So you want pretty much your boil everything to be open, unless you're using like a mash tun in an all grain setup. Once again, we'll get there, but this is super easy. During the boil, leave the lid off, basically is what I'm saying. All right, so we've got the first hop addition. Look at that rolling boil. Let's go. Let's go. That's how you want it. And then when you add anything to this, anything, it doesn't matter. It can boil over. So once again, I'm just going to keep an eye on it while I do this. I should probably be over there because it can go, yeah, look at it. You can take off it in a second. So you just got to kind of watch your temperatures and stuff. Gosh dang it. This is the best part, guys. Oh, I love that smell. Oh, it smells so good. It's like drugs. Anytime it gets too crazy, just turn the heat off. Then these guys, once again, powder, hate it. So you just pour these into there. Perfect. I love the smell of hops. Just take that down, fit that in that little hole, clamp her down. Oh, damn it. All right, there we go. Drop her in. Perfect. There you go. And we will be adding water to this. We're going to add another probably 2.5 gallons. I just filled up some ice water. That's another thing. We're going to do what's called a cold crash on this guy. You want to make sure that, one, you're also timing this, like I am not. And two, so this goes in for 40 minutes. That little ball of hops that I just put in there goes in for 40 minutes. All right, so you got your first edition hops, which are already in there. They're the ones that I put in the little ball. They're ready to rock and roll. Then, after that, we've got our 20-minute late boil edition. So you got the boil for 40 minutes, add last 1 ounce pack of Northern Brewer hops, and then boil final 20 minutes, terminate boil. Oh, there it is right there. And I have Chinese food on the way. Don't call me fat. I'm fat. All right. So, once again, save these guys for very last. Ooh, easy hydrometer. Pour those bad boys in. Bam. You guys can't see any of this because I didn't adjust anything. Boom. All right. One last guy going in. Once again, every single time you guys add something to the boil, it will do this. Look at that. Look at that. So be really careful. If it's already been boiling for a while, it's not a big deal, but like especially the first hop edition, right when it starts boiling, right when it's really hot, that will just go crazy. So just got to be careful. So we got another 20 minutes on that guy. We're going to 6:51. I actually remember this time. PM. Save. All right. And we're going to take the hops out, dispose of those guys, and then cold crash. Hopefully get to a good temperature. Super easy when you're doing, this is technically like half of its, so this is a 5-gallon batch. So basically half of the water that we're using as our beer, unquote, quote, is in here. So we started with 2.5 gallons. We're probably down to about 2 gallons just from boil off. So we'll probably add 3 gallons of ice cold water just to get it into that temperature range that we're looking for the yeast, so we can pitch it and know that it's going to be good and they're going to live and all that good stuff. So, oh yeah. Also, once we're done, once everything's been cooled down, we're going to take this. This is called a hydrometer. And basically what it does is it is going to show us our potential sugars. And you always want to take this right after you're done, right before you pitch the yeast, and get it as close to the temperature that the yeast is going to be at as possible, because it's going to give you the most accurate reading. When stuff's hot, it's not going to do the right thing. Basically, 1,000 is pretty much just like water, and then it's basically just, I guess this measures solids that are contained within the brew, which basically equates to sugars. And so you know exactly where you're going to start, and then where you end on this spectrum is where that's how you calculate your ABV, your alcohol, total alcohol content. So technically we're supposed to be, I think this is 1.055. So in between those two, that's where we're trying to hit today. See what we're going to do. It's either 1.55 down to, I think, 1.050. 1.048. There is the alarm. So basically we're going to be looking for basically in this range, and you'll see it when I drop it in there. You know, kind of show you guys how to read that and stuff. But basically, it helps to know exactly what content is in your beer, doing it before and after. And it also tells you when your beer is kind of ready, when it's done, you know, when all the sugars have been basically fermented out. So we're going to take this guy off boil. Thank you, propane, for lasting. You rock. You rock, bro. All right, get these guys out. Those will cool down. Those look like they did a pretty good job. I'll show you kind of what they look like. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna open them up right now. It's gonna be hot as hell, but you'll see the entire thing will just be a cake of hops. So basically, they just expand in there and smell amazing. So, yeah. All right, so we got this. We're gonna go grab the water and we're gonna go pour that in. So.
It's not me.
This is it you?
No, it's not me.
Squirrel, is it you?
No, it's not me.
AC, is it you?
AC's the only one that pointed at me like that.
And I mean, if you could flash freeze this wort, that would probably be the best thing. During the chilling process, you want to get it down to as cool as possible, as fast as possible, basically to eliminate, once again, eliminate anything that shouldn't be in your beer. Just because anything past the boil, anything past that sanitization point, it's just going to really mess things up. So we are at 104 right now. 110, 111. There's still ice in here, so that'll go down for sure. All right, so we'll have this guy in. Ah! All right, so that's ice cold water, ladies and gentlemen. The thing that's going to save you guys time and effort is after you guys are done doing anything with brew stuff. I don't care if it's your wort thingy thing, whatever, you just boil the wort in your pot. Just clean everything. Just clean it then and there. It makes it so much easier to deal with than if you're like, I'm gonna leave it later because this stuff, like I'm saying, this stuff is so sticky. It just gets everywhere. All right, guys. So we're gonna come back after 40 minutes and we're gonna rock and roll. Let's go. So it's all good. We can even throw this in there too. So basically, like I was saying, this is your hydrometer. We're gonna drop that in. It's about 110 degrees. You don't want to do it too hot. Of course, it's glass. You can see it floating too. So let's see if I can get. Yeah. So we're at about. You can see the top. I don't know if you guys can even see that, but you've got 1,000, 10, 20, 30, 40, and you read it. So basically, that water is going to come around and it's going to make a little bubble there. You want to read it at the level that the entire brew is at. So even though it looks like it's at 40 right now, when it's leveling out, there's about that centimeter layer of foam on there, which actually looks like it's about 10.50, which is basically dead nuts in the middle of our original gravity. So we're going to be at about 10.050. So perfect. That's what you want to be at. So hitting our numbers already, these make it super easy. So awesome. Alrighty. So next step, we're going to need gravity. I'm going to put that down on this. Softer is always better. All right. Take a temperature of that bad boy. $52, $61, $66, $67, $70. I'm gonna go get something to stir that up. You know what? This has already been in it. Another thing that I didn't do, but you can do, is you can always oxygenate your wort. So basically, all your yeast is feeding off of the oxygen that's stirred up into this. It's been boiled into this. Stirring this helps get the oxygen there. The more oxygenated, even I have a little fish aquarium pump with like an oxygen stone on it, and basically it just blows water into your beer, or blows oxygen into your beer, and it makes the yeast go crazy. And they love it. 57, 67, 72, 73, 76, 77, 78. All right, that's actually a pretty fast cold crash. A lot of times you have to get like an inversion cooler, and you put, you just have to run the sink, and it actually cools it off through coils. I'll show you guys that downstairs, but this is the easy way. You just top it off. So basically, once this hits good temperature, we're going to take our racking tube, which I'll show you guys in a little bit. We're going to throw our racking tube into here. And you basically, it's a siphon. You basically gravity feed all of your beer that's in here, or your wort, I should say. It's not beer yet, but it will be, into there. And then after that, we put that yeast slurry that I have inside of here, and you're ready to rock and roll. I mean, it doesn't get much easier than that. I think this brew day was like 2 hours long. Could have been a lot shorter. You never know. If you just do stuff differently, you'll figure it out. It's not that hard. And this guy might be still hot. Nope. We're gonna throw him up back into his original spot. That's the only bad part about the Dark Star is it does, the finish on this bad boy just comes right off. You can see it all just flaking off, but I mean, it is what it is. Great little burner. Pick one up, I dare ya. All right, so while that's doing its thing, this is cooling off. We're gonna go check on that yeast, and I'm gonna go get a filter. Pardon the mess. This is a little immersion cooler, I should say. You put this guy down in the wort and hook this up to a little sink like that, and you just run cold water through it. And these coils just basically cool down the temperatures. You definitely need that for all grain. And this is all my stock pots and mash tuns and electric mash tuns, electric sparge tanks. I mean, this is my temperature control, and basically I put this in here. I've got temperature controllers. I mean, like I said, guys, you can get crazy with it, and you've got heaters, little heat things that you can do. I mean, there's so much stuff. So, like, yeah, this is just the tip of the iceberg. You can spend thousands of dollars like I have on it and still not know how to brew. So cool. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna grab these guys. Basically, you can already tell that I've used them for a little bit, but basically it's a very, very thin mesh. When I said cheese, this is a cheese cloth, and it is okay, but this stuff is like super thin material, really absorbent. So I mean, or filtery, I guess you could say. So this is stuff I use. I always filter this stuff through. It just catches all the big proteins and nasty stuff that I just try to get out of the brew to make it super clear. There's also stuff you can add, like Whirlflock tablets and stuff like that. I think I've got a few somewhere laying around in that bag right there, but it is what it is. I mean, like I said, I didn't want to get too crazy with this video. I just kind of want to show you guys how easy it is to brew, and an idiot can do it. Just got to know what you're doing. This is a racking cane, quote unquote. Basically, it's just a siphon. You high to low gravity. It's gravity fed, super easy, super cheap, like $25. So let's see what we got. 63, 70, 73. Cool down. 77, 78. I think our range of our yeast is right around 72 to 68. Let's go check on that. I still have never checked on that, so we'll go check on it. All right. So we got 58 to 68. So that's going to be your temperature range. All right. So also when you're racking this is also going to transfer temperature as well. So we're going to actually start. Take the bung off. We'll put that over here. Always have it up or else you'll push beer everywhere. Once again, this has been sanitized because this is, oh no. Oh no. Let's do this. Hold on. Hold on, people. Here we go. I'm actually going to do this. Right here. And then, basically, I don't have a long enough one, but I'm going to put this in here. And sometimes this guy. All right, and then that's kind of bending, but actually, you know what we're going to do? Big brain, folks, because I've done that before, and that is not good. You get shicing everywhere. I don't know if I'm going to even be able to do this. Yeah, I will. Here. So we're going to push that down. Take this, and then you basically just shove it down. There we go. Basically starts to transfer. And there's a dog. This also helps oxygenate your wort as well. Any agitation or anything like that is going to really help make your wort have as much dissolved oxygen in it as possible, and it's just key. Every now and then you got to shake this too because it just gets clogged up because it's just a really fine filter. But yeah, the more oxygen you can get in there, the better. I mean, like I was saying, I have a little aquarium pump with an oxygenation stone on it, and you just put it in there and you turn it on. But I don't think that's appropriate for this video. This is just a very basic, bare bones video of just how to do a easy recipe kit. I mean, $35 and 2 hours of your time. You can do it while drinking too, which is what I usually do. So, I mean, it is what it is. But yeah, basically make sure you guys get one of these guys in a 6.5 gallon. This is a 5 gallon recipe batch. So when you're fermenting, when you pour your yeast in there and those guys are going to town, they form a top layer of like bubbles, and it's an ale, so it's a top. The yeast float to the top, and that's how they eat the sugars. They float to the top and they suspend at the top, and then when everything's done, they kind of settle down to the bottom and become the yeast cake. They flocculate together is actually the right term for it, but all of that yeast at the top will create, you need headspace is what they call it, and it gives the yeast space to expand so it's not blowing out the top and blowing out your airlock and stuff, especially with the airlock that I have. I'll show you guys. It's a super nice airlock. Hopefully it works. I've never used it before, but yeah, if you have 5 gallons of beer and you put it in a 5 gallon fermenter, you're gonna have a mess on your hands. It's just gonna blow out the airlock and all that stuff, and trust me, it's happened to me before. So definitely, if your guys are using this as a primary vessel, you're gonna want a 6.5. It's just, you know, there's literally, I think the 6.5 is $1 more. And a good carrying handle, because these do not come with carrying handles. At least I didn't. And trying to carry 6.5 gallons of anything is extremely hard, especially when you don't have a handle. So get a handle. It makes everything better. And like I said, you do not want to drop one of these because it goes everywhere. It's a mess. Don't do it. It sucks. Trust me. And the wife gets mad, and you're mad, and everyone's mad. It's not good. So bung is not fitting for the Play-Doh. Good thing we have too much brew stuff. Bada bing, bada boom. All right, everyone. Got some signs of activity. You could see all the yeast kind of floating around in there. Sorry if you sound tired. This is before work. All those yeast are going to town on those sugars. We got activity and monitoring in our airlock. Super cool. CO2 coming out.